I want to take you back a couple steps because you threw something out there as if I wasn't going to come back to it. So what is this about ROH that Meltzer has incorrect?
Not a goddamn thing. I read those reports. And
okay, so what would you like to clarify?
An accurate report yet. And I mean, I don't ever have to explain myself, ever. I'm not about to now, but that's
trending number one?
Trending number one worldwide, beating out the WWE Hall of Fame, March Madness, Ring of Honor, and New Japan, the other people that were involved there. I mean, there's a recipe to the madness. I mean, I showed up at Survivor Series because I had a goal. You know, I didn't show up to Survivor Series without knowing I was going to do what I did at Madison Square Garden per se. I mean, and if you looked back at my social media, you would have seen me planting the seeds for this for months. And I don't need to like revisit it, but I think that what happened that day, I don't need to say was the shit of history. I mean, it was historic. It was the first show in 60 years that somebody outside of a McMahon ran at Madison Square Garden the night before WrestleMania in the realest guys in the room's backyard. So we made history. We trended. We reunited. And like I said, free agency is open for business but not for sale. Are we taking bookings and stuff? I mean, if it's enticing, but is there anything more enticing than Madison Square Garden? I mean, I really had not had much of a lust to get back into wrestling until, you know, I heard the echoes of that happening. And I started to make my plans because I always knew if I wanted to get back into wrestling, there was a way I would like to do it. And that was that's an NWO-esque invasion, which happened.
And all those guys in the ring didn't do anything.
Yeah. That's the thing about what happened. I mean, there wasn't a soul in that ring that knew what the fuck was going on. The camera guy, the commentators, the stands. And if you know that that's the smartest group of fans in the history of the business, and they sold out that arena in 4 minutes. One man, all right, manifested a plan at Survivor Series, and it all took shape, and the smartest group of fans in the world got worked. They have no idea what the fuck happened. The number one guy who's supposed to be smart, Dave Meltzer, is putting out inaccurate reports on the fucking reg.
Conan, if you were in the ring and you saw that was going down and you didn't know what was happening, would you go interfere? Like maybe these guys they fight because they were throwing blows.
Yeah, it depends. Well, if they hit somebody that's a friend of mine, for sure.
Yeah, like you would have jumped and broke it up. Yeah. Like
you know this from watching Brock and Randy at SummerSlam, okay? And Chris Jericho coming out of the fucking boys' locker room pissed off, flipping out on Brock, you know, because they didn't know if it was a work or a shoot, right? How do you make something real in wrestling? You make it fucking real. So if you're crazy enough to have a fist fight in Madison Square Garden and make it fucking real, people have no idea what the fuck to think or how to react.
Right.
And the Briscoes take nothing away from those tough sons of bitches. And Uncle Bubba, I fucking love Uncle Bubba. You know what I mean? But that was it, man. That's a real-ass fucking fight. You roll that footage back, you don't see anybody pulling any punches, bro. And that was the craziest shit I've ever done in my life. We walked out of Madison Square Garden with the middle fingers in the air. Fuck you, Enzo Chance. Executed perfectly, dude.
So basically, you've done a great job of keeping your name out there, continuing a buzz around you.